So let's start with Mason Taylor, who is a projected round 2 pick right now. Pete will get more specific here in a second, but 6'5", 250, 20 years old. His father is Jason Taylor, so he's got the heritage here.
Yep.
So what'd you think of the LSU tight end?
I really liked him. I did. I mean, again, another guy where I'd go, hey, the blocking, it could be a little bit better, but there are plays where you see him be physical and come off the ball and do that. I'm not having any concerns about it, right? He can do it. He can do it, and it's going to be up to him to what kind of level blocker he wants to be, but the strength is there, the athleticism's there, all of that. Love his body. I do. I wish he was a little bit more muscular, but like a Colson Loveland, it's an easy 251. I mean, easy. Like one of those where you're like, really, are you 251? You're that big? It doesn't really look like you're that big, but it's a big frame. It's square shoulders. I mean, of course, he takes after his dad in that department. Very fluid, natural athlete, right? It's not clunky. Yeah, and you can see there. I mean, there's his dad. His dad's a specimen.
Dang.
And he's kind of making his dad not look like a specimen
Right?
by standing next to him.
Wow.
Yes. It's pretty damn good that way. I think this is still a young kid in a lot of ways. Like, he's still filling out and growing up in front of our eyes, right? And I'm not trying to say that and be, like, disrespectful in any ways. A nice young man, but I'm just saying physically, I think he's still, honestly, like, probably maturing to
I
a
don't think
degree.
anyone thought that was disrespectful
All
until
right.
you
Until I
qualified
said
at that,
it.
and they were like,
well,
what did you
I
actually
don't ever make
mean?
any young man be like, hey, this kid, that kid, he looks like, you know what I mean? I'm trying to not be that way.
Oh, okay, I get it. Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
He's a young adult.
He's a young adult, exactly right, who's got some room to grow and thicken out still. But, yeah, I mean, not clunky at all. Right, a lot of the times you see tight ends just like, oh, and they got to run, and it's like arms are flaring everywhere. The legs, you could tell they're like, it's maximum effort to get the locomotive going that way. No, he's got good acceleration, got good top end speed. Right, feet are really good to kind of weave through traffic, get off the line of scrimmage. I thought his hips as a route runner were better than somebody like Tyler Warren. He does have a little of that looseness in his hips to make sharp breaks and come out of breaks and separate that upper and lower body to kind of fool a defender that way. So he's good at that, right? So route running, great. I wasn't expecting him to be as good an athlete as he was. He was kind of surprised to me that way. And the way he adjusted the ball, I was impressed with that, right? Good technique in the blocking like I talked about, and shows that he is willing to be physical, right? Blocking with the ball, blocking or with the ball in his hand, he is physical. Not a killer like Loveland, like I wrote about all the time. Loveland was a little bit more mean and nasty, but like, and he will miss some blocks at times and overall, but I didn't have a problem with it, right? I know it was not perfect. Catches the ball over the middle, no fear of people or in traffic or anything like that. Like I said, the route running is impressive. Another guy where can kind of weave through traffic, right, at full speed. He gets going, watch out. He chews up some ground, and, you know, you're a smaller DB. The way he runs and aggressive, I'm like, yeah, have fun jumping in front of that, right? And he ain't afraid to, like, kind of lower the boom that way, right? So from all that standpoint there, yeah, I really thought he was a good player. He was one of the pleasant surprises I've watched so far, because I had heard his name but didn't know how good he was. And I guess there was a part of me that thought, well, maybe it's just because he's LSU and he's Jason Taylor's son. He's getting a little more hype. But, man, as soon as I turned it on, I was like, oh, this kid's a player.
Almost the opposite, maybe. Yeah, just 20 years old, so still room to grow, as you disrespectfully called him a kid. You know, he still has a ways to go. So he is a projected late second-round pick right now, according to the mock drafts. Do you think he will go before that or after that?
I'm going to say before that.
Okay.
I'm going to say before that. I wrote down 30 to 45. I probably should have made it maybe,
that seems about right.
I think that's about where I feel like it'll be, right? Like I said, you know, good at breaking down and lowering his hips to put his foot in the ground and burst out of routes. I thought, with Loveland, ran some of the most detailed, intricate routes as far as, like, again, running the shallow cross, putting your foot in the ground, coming back the other way, right? Where, like I said, usually with bigger type of guys, that's not an easy change of direction, movement, transition, whatever you want to say it. He can kind of do it at a receiver type level where you go, wow. I mean, to get in and out of that break the way he did that seamlessly and accelerate out of it, I thought was really impressive, right? Like, he was better at stuff like that than Tyler Warren.
Interesting.
They didn't ask Tyler Warren to do stuff like that a whole lot. And like I said, Tyler Warren just kind of does it with his own natural ability. But yeah, I really like to snatch it, can snatch the ball right out of the air. He gets upfield in a hurry. I like that. Very natural with the releases that I talked about off the ball, right? This is a natural every down tight end. And like I said, 30 to 45. And I think he runs like 4.63. That's kind of what I wrote down as a speed.
So he caught a pass in each of his final 28 games at LSU. So Brian Kelly and company, he did not disappear. He was a big part of the offense for basically the last 2 seasons.
Yep.
So there is a non-zero chance, from what I'm hearing from you, that there could be 3 first-rounders or 3 tight ends in the first round. Non-zero. Not likely. I'm not saying it's likely, but there's maybe like a 5% chance that if a team falls in love with Mason Taylor, maybe he goes in the first round.
I don't think it's crazy. That size, the way he runs, right? I think that he will be off the board before the end of the second. But yeah, when I write down 30 to 45, I look at it and go, no, I don't think it's crazy that some team at the end of the first round or something like that, if they needed a tight end, they would do that. I don't know if we have a tight team that fits that mold actually there, but I'm writing it as in a general thing without looking at a board, right? That's just all you're writing, just for
I'm not saying
a
it's
gauge.
likely. I'm just saying there's now a chance.
I hear
that
you.
there could
I'm
be
with
3
you.
there.
No, I'm with you. I wouldn't have wrote it if I didn't believe it. Thanks for watching Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Hey, just because the season's over, it doesn't mean we're over. We ain't going anywhere. The NFL never dies.
We're staying right here. Hit subscribe. We got every NFL move. We'll react to that. Plus, Chris has got 4,719 draft prospect profiles to do.
Thanks again for watching. Subscribe. You know where to find us. Peace out, homies.